So Quentin Tarantino is probably one of the most popular directors. Even if you don't really care about movies like that, you've probably heard his name before. A lot of his films have a pulpy, energetic feel to them. He's known for his stylistic use of violence in his films, among other things. So I decided to watch some of his favorite films. There were like thousands of films to choose from, but I ended up just picking 7 films. The films I picked were Heat, the 1995 film by Michael Mann, Jaws, the 1975 film by Steven Spielberg, Audition, the 1999 film by Takashi Miike, All About Lily Chocho, the 2001 film by Shinji Iwai, Raising Arizona, the 1987 film by Ethan and Joel Coen, Kill Baby Kill, the 1966 film by Mario Bava, and Zombieland, the 2009 film by Ruben Fleischer. I love this film so much. I'm surprised it took me this long to watch it because I'd always hear about it. It did not disappoint. Heat is a crime thriller told through the perspective of a cop played by Al Pacino and a criminal played by Robert De Niro. They sort of play this game of cat and mouse because they're both like really good at their jobs. I like the characters a lot. Al Pacino and Robert De Niro performances were amazing. The scene where they got coffee and they were just talking, the dialogue was so well written and just masterfully performed. I also love the chase scenes. Those are so good. I love action sequences so much. They really kept me on my toes. This did remind me a bit of French Connection, if you remember. We talked about that in the Safdie Brothers video. So yeah, but I did, unlike French Connection, I kind of hated French Connection at first. I was like, this fucking movie is so boring. But as I as I continued it, I loved it, and I love French Connection, and I love this. So yeah, definitely a must watch if you love crime thrillers and just action films in general. Jaws is another film that everyone constantly talks about, and I just hadn't gotten around to watch it. A lot of the times when people really talk highly of movies, I end up not enjoying them as much, but thankfully I love this one. The pacing is great. You really feel the sense of terror. The characters are really likable, and their personalities really complement each other. The last hour or so of this film reminded me of The Lighthouse and 12 Angry Men. I don't know if that's an accurate read, but that's what kept popping up in my brain. I like this film a lot. There were so many cool shots in this, like so many fun and dynamic shots. Love it. Love it. I love Jaws. Like such a basic bitch take. Like, oh, Jaws is good. Actually, like, yes, bitch, obviously. So, yeah, like, I liked it. This film is about some very lost and alienated teenagers that bond over the singer Lily Chocho. Things get progressively darker and darker. I don't want to say too much. It's definitely the kind of film that you should go in knowing the least amount possible. It's very experimental and dark and moody and just so pleasing to the eye. It's just beautifully shot. And the soundtrack is so good. It definitely went what the fuck multiple times while watching this. It tackles a lot of serious issues and is probably one of the first films I've seen that perfectly captures what it's like to be a teenager online and shows that contrast between the solace and the comfort many people get from the virtual world that they've curated versus the real world. It's an amazing film, and I definitely recommend checking it out. This film was funny and campy. The acting was a bit exaggerated, but it really works for the movie and adds a lot of charm. I think that was the intention also. I didn't love it, but I did like it a lot, and I thought it was really fun. The premise is wild. This guy, he goes in and out of prison, and he falls in love with a police officer. He stops getting into trouble. They get married, and she decides she wants a kid. And they try to have a kid, but she's unable to. And then they see on the TV that this well-off family has like a bunch of babies, like 6 or 7 or something like that. And they're like, whoa, how come they get so many kids and we can't have any kids? So they like steal a kid. And it's a wild ride. It's so fun. And I definitely think you guys should check this one out because you might really like it. I feel like with zombie movies, it's hard to go wrong. I love the subgenre a lot. I feel like it's hard to make a genuinely shitty zombie movie, you know? This is a comedy, so you probably shouldn't go into it expecting something like Train to Busan. It's more like Shaun of the Dead. This movie was a lot of fun. The characters were cool, and Emma Stone was amazing, as always. I love the character dynamics. I feel like all the actors did a really good job. Jesse Eisenberg and Woody Harrelson make a really solid duo. Also, Abigail Breslin, she had a really good performance too. I like the editing a lot. It went well with the entire tone. I didn't love this, but I did enjoy it. So the basic premise for this film is like this detective guy comes into a small village to investigate a murder, but the local people are like really tight-lipped about it, and they're like, oh yeah, the ghosts just kind of like do that sometimes, you know. But he's not believing a word they're saying. He's very skeptical, as you'd expect, and a whole lot of interesting things happen. I'm not gonna spoil it, but I really do think you guys should watch this one. It has some very creepy visuals. A lot of that gothic element is present in this one. There's this door sequence with a doppelganger that was so cool. Definitely one of my favorite shots from this movie. It's essentially a revenge film. It's basically a revenge ghost film. It's like batshit crazy. It's kind of crazy, and I love it. This film was wild. I really feel like I need to rewatch it to fully get it, but I enjoyed it. It has a lot of dreamlike qualities. You don't really know what's real and what's not. It reminded me of Perfect Blue and Enemy with the reality blurring. If you're squeamish and you don't like seeing any gore, maybe steer clear of this one because it gets bloody and it gets weird. Tarantino described this film as a quote-unquote true masterpiece if there ever was one, which makes sense. I can definitely see him taking inspiration from this. A lot of people describe it as gut-wrenching and hard to watch, which I can understand, but I personally didn't feel that way. But it's definitely a very disturbing film with very striking imagery and just a really interesting story. I definitely would recommend that you guys check this one out if you're not if you're not squeamish. I definitely would suggest checking this one out. Okay, so that's all for now. There are so many films on the list that I definitely plan on checking out. So if you guys want a part 2 to this, I can do that if you want. If you have any other directors that you'd like to see me check out their favorite films, just comment their names down below. I feel like this was a bit different from my usual videos in this series. I don't know if that's a good or bad thing, but we'll see. I have a bunch of videos planned, so see you next video.
Can't wait for this to be